get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
You make me laugh. Not like a rock band makes me laugh. Good morning. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Queen is dead. Long live the king. Chuck E. Cheese, King Chuck E. Cheese first. I don't know what I'm saying. That's disrespectful. I am so sorry to be a disrespectful character.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought that. Anyway, good morning. It is Wednesday? Yes, Wednesday, hump day, May 3rd, 2023. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I am really, really, really tired today. And I slept. I slept intermittently. I'm tired. I think I might be, I'm not a big believer in this whole seasonal affective disorder. But we are still waiting for spring. It's cold and dreary and dark and rainy. Well, gray and rainy. And, you have to be patient. May sometimes can take a while to kick in. But the thing is, February and March, we had a 75-degree day in February this year. And much of March was very warm spring-like sunny days, well over 60. Today it's 44, 43 degrees, and dark, gray, cold, rainy. And I think that definitely has an effect on my attitude towards life. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day. I hope it's beautiful wherever you are. I believe our friend Craig is in Orlando, Florida. Today, the big news, of course, the biggest news, there's some news going on in the world here, is the coronation of King Chuck E. Cheese the First, or King Charles. I don't know. Is he the first? I don't even know how they go about that. Because you see, King George the Third or Seventh, or whatever, Henry the Eighth. Is he really the eighth? Because there were not 7 Henrys before Henry the Eighth. I don't know where they come up with the numbers, but hopefully Carl will be joining me. Carl probably has a better grasp on this whole stuff than I do. But big deal, and not covered in the U.S. at all. The Queen dying, we heard about that forever. And we've heard of, every time somebody gets married in the royal family, big to do, you would think a king's coronation would be big news here, but no, nobody seems to even notice. And honestly, I feel pretty dumb about it. I don't know anything about the monarchy, really. I mean, I know there's a monarchy. I know they are called the Windsors. I know that they are originally not even English, but of German heritage. Maybe I do know a few things, but that's it. I feel like Musk. Yeah, all people know about is George Washington is that he owned slaves. No, I know a few more things than that, but not a lot more. So hopefully Carl will be able to clue us in if he does pop in. I wrote to him this morning. The thing is, this has been a week. I've done a lot of ranting this week so far. A lot of guest cancellations. For good reason and with advance notice. Today, I was supposed to have a guy on, Ian O'Connor, I believe was the name. I have to look it up. He's an author with a fresh perspective on the Kennedy assassination. Not conspiracy theories, but he's going to have to reschedule anyway. But I thought that would be a good change up from having strictly comedians and musicians on all the time. Tomorrow, Killer Keely will be with me. Other stuff in the news: Ukraine. Now, Russia is claiming this, so you never know if it's true or not. But according to Russia, Ukraine tried to take out Vladimir Putin last night with an aerial attack over the Kremlin. Now, there is some video footage, but you know what? Again, it's Russia. They could stay. They could just send up fireworks because the video footage is very unclear. It doesn't. I can't see planes. I see smoke. Right. So, how insane would it be? To try to take out the leader of a major nuclear power, assassinate. Because if you miss, that's the old adage. You aim too high and you miss. Now you wait for the blowback. And it's not going to be if that's maybe now again, if it's not true, then Russia is using this as a setup for retaliation. They're allowed to nuke Ukraine because they tried to take out Putin. Not a good thing. But who knows if it's true or not? You don't know. Very nervous. Now in the banking situation here, um, I read this thing yesterday. I mean, that's the world is falling apart. So let's party, folks. Light them up if you got them. That's the banking situation here in America, according to several articles I read yesterday, is far worse than it was right around 2007, right before, and 2008, where we had the financial crisis that it triggered a worldwide recession. And the numbers were staggering. They said, the I mean, percentage wise and dollar wise, how much how much money has been lost, how many banks were really affected during the Great Recession of 2008, and exponentially greater numbers already with the bank failures of this time. And it said 4,000 banks are insolvent. 4,000 I think in uh, 2008. Now, don't quote me on this. I'm not an economist, and I I don't really have a full grasp on this stuff. But I believe the number stated of the banks in 2008 that were insolvent were 15. Now it's 4,000. Could be a big problem. So Feds are raising interest rates again. What does that deal with that kind of stuff? And how does that affect the economy, which is already on shaky ground here? Remains to be seen. It's scary thought though. We're dealing with the possibility of major economic fallout. The American Republicans and conservatives, CPAC, are definitely going a little too far to the right. They're doing something starting tomorrow. CPAC in Hungary. Hungary is a fascist country, They definitely as far right as you can get uh, in the current world, and not aligned with American democracy at all. They are aligned with far right totalitarianism. That's where they stand up. And the Republican Party and conservative group CPAC of the United States is going over there to have a big, shindig like they do every year, just basically own the libs. Uh, it's a little weird. Imagine, imagine this is 1935, and the Republican Party said, "We're going to go over to Germany and throw a big celebration shindig party with Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party." That's as close to and this is not hyperbole in saying, all Republicans are Nazis. That's not what I'm saying here. But imagine that they, in 1935, the Republican Party wanted to go over to Germany to have their convention thing that they have here every year. It's not, not the nomination convention, not the RNC, but CPAC, their big conservative party. That's as close to that analogy as we can get here. It definitely feels weird. Stuff. Of course, UFOs are always in the news lately, and I wonder if this is all just like a distraction from all the crazy shit that really is going on. I mean, I don't know what the end game is, but it seems for all of my life, government and mainstream media and other media, for to some extent, had wanted to keep any talk of UFOs restricted to crazy people. And all of a sudden, they're just like really willing to talk about it all, and they want to keep the subject out there. Now, a cynical mind like mine would say there's an agenda behind that. What is with the governments and mainstream media and even alternative media just constantly focusing or trying to keep us focused on the idea of UFOs? Um, I don't know. Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear 'em, why that is and what they're trying to accomplish with that. Anyway, man of the man of the hour is here, and I want to talk to him about Chucky, the Chuck E. Cheese, or do we call him Charlie, or do we call him Uncle Charlie the King, or is it King Charles the 19th? Um, Sir, good morning, Carl.
Hmm. Hello.
Do I call you King Carl the First?
Can, yeah, if you like, yeah.
King Carl the First. Well, first question I have for you: the numbers, like Henry VIII,
Yeah.
whatever the numbers that come up, they're not really significant. There weren't 7 Henrys before Henry VIII. King Charles,
Yes,
what is
there were. There were 7. There were 8 King Henrys.
all in a line?
No, it's no, they're not all in a line.
Okay.
There's a bunch of royal names like Christian names, right?
Yeah.
So then it'll be Henry, Peter, Philip, Paul, whatever it is, and then it'll be, oh, you're the third one. You're the. I think two of the Henrys were famous. The rest of them weren't famous, and I don't know anything other than that. But the numbers are genuine. There were 8.
So Charles, what is he?
It's the third, I believe.
Charles the Third. You believe? They don't kind of put that out there like it's not like.
Well, no one cares. We don't care about the monarchy. Very few people care. I don't know. I mean, I saw it on the internet the other day.
Really, you don't care? Because I thought only the U.S. didn't care, because we care about everything else over here. Listen, if somebody in that family gets married and they're, even if a distant cousin of the,
it's a celebrity. It's a celebrity thing, isn't it? That's all it is now.
But coronations, there haven't been any none in my lifetime, right?
No, I think we're in the 50s, I guess, 1952 or whatever it was, when the Queen took over, somewhere around there, 56.
You would think it would be big news. You didn't watch it at all? You didn't watch any of the coverage of her?
It hasn't happened yet.
Oh, I thought it would happen overnight.
Oh, Americans. Good. Just do a bit of fact checking. You sit on there all day telling people they're spreading misinformation. It's all you do.
No, I don't know. This is why I asked you out, because Glenn Wall was talking about it as if it already happened.
Well, it's I think it's Saturday, so it's building up. All the coverage is building this week. What happened yesterday was someone threw some shotgun cartridges through the gates of Buckingham Palace, and he got arrested. And then they did a controlled explosion of this bag of shotgun cartridges outside. But no, it's building up all week because it's on Saturday.
Still no coverage of it over here, though, at all. I mean, you would think, because with the wedding, and I'm, dating myself.
Yeah, I don't know.
Those weddings, whatever, they start 2 weeks in advance and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, a wedding's, I don't think people really know what a coronation is. He's already king, so it's just the official swearing in, I guess, isn't it? There's a stone of destiny. There's a stone of destiny. There's a stone of destiny, an ancient stone, and it's of destiny. That's all I know.
He doesn't have to pull a sword out of a stone or anything like that. Like
I mean, well, all the sabers and stuff that they did that's all empowered by God and all this stuff and unique, powerful bloodlines and all that kind of business. And there's magic, there's religion, there's the Stone of Destiny is an ancient symbol of Scotland's monarchy. Okay, but this apparently is going to be part of the ceremony. I have no idea. We'll find out on Saturday. We'll find out together. I don't know anything that's going to happen.
With magic stuff. Now, I don't even know.
Hopefully a 747 will crash into central London on Saturday.
Now, we'll talk about fact checks. I'm going to have to fact check this, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I thought 747s don't even exist anymore.
That's as much. I don't know anything about aviation apart from in them occasionally. It could be. Is it a 737 or
737? Yeah, and
Book a lot of flights, but I should know really. But 747 was the old standard thing, right? But there's whatever the biggest one. Flight.
I apologize to the world out there for thinking he'd already been coronated king. I know he is already king. But I thought the celebration.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Saturday morning, and I'm probably going to do a stream of it on Twitch. I'll probably play it. I'll probably play the video on Twitch. Fuck copyright, and we'll see what happens. And we'll do a narration of it. I think that might be a fun thing to do.
Do people resent the bragging about the money? Because listen, 2 golden. This is where Glenn Moore got me this morning. He had pictures of 2 golden carriages, and I was like, if they did that here, I think pretty much everybody on the left would be on fire, saying, this is a disgusting display of wealth disparity and all that stuff.
I think there's a lot of that. I think there's more now than ever. I think people were giving the Queen a bit of a pass because she was old and she had been around a long time,
right?
And they've cut. He's still getting on for 80, I think. He's up there. He's 70 something, I think. He's not healthy. So he'll be gone in a few years as well. We'll have another coronation in 10 years. So we'll see a few go on. Weird. But people are attacking it online. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of it. Cost of living crisis and all that stuff. People are struggling to eat and that you're going to have to watch this gold shit. They've got less support than ever. The older generations, for the most part, will probably support them. And some weird fat flag waving idiots probably, and my mum.
Right.
I haven't spoken to my mother in a long time, but I think she went up there when he became king. She was in London, like waving and all that stuff. So
that was going to be my next question. So for this coronation, what is it? Is it like a parade down the street?
I don't know the details yet, but I would imagine there's probably a procession, or they'll drive from the palace to somewhere, and there'll be a thing, and they'll put the crown on, and there's a destiny thing, and it'll probably go on for a couple of hours.
Tories. Well, Carl could see the chat room on his own, but I don't know. Do you want to?
I don't support any political party. I don't support any political ideology, and I certainly wouldn't vote for the Tories. But they've been in power a long time now, and it's just people are constantly surprised that they're corrupt. Of course, they're corrupt.
Yeah, I would say I have to agree with Carl here. If it's a political party you don't have to ask if it's corrupt.
If you've been in power, I mean, they've been in power 12 years. I mean, yeah, when you're in power that long, you're just like, where's the money? Let's get these contracts. Let's get these $1 billion contracts on the side.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I'm interested if because Charles, now are they gonna call him? They'll call him Charles. Will you mock him? Call him Chuck? Will you call him Charlie? Any of that kind of stuff?
I probably would never refer to him. What would I call him? I don't know. Befriender of pedophiles, or pedophiles. The American audience, Lizard King. I don't know. Whatever.
Is he a friend of pedophiles, or
yeah, he was best friends. He was very friendly with Jimmy Savile. You know, the famous raper of corpses, young girls, disabled men, men with mental illness, everybody he could touch for 50 years, and everyone knew about it. Everyone nobody said a word. And he was allowed to come and go into the royal palace with no police. Police weren't even allowed to say anything. They're like,
I know. It's still one of the most baffling, and how the rest of the world. I mean, I know he was famous there, and you say everyone knew, but the rest of the world only found out about it through Netflix last year.
Yeah, because it was he was just I don't know what the equivalent in America would be. He just presented a couple of TV shows. No, not even that. It was just he's like whatever TV host that you liked. I don't know.
Yeah. Jerry Springer. No.
Jay Leno. Jerry's whatever, whatever. It's just the equivalent of that. Just
actually, yeah. With the Pops thing, it would have been like Dick Clark, right? Yeah, because Dick Clark was bandstand.
So he did Top of the Pops, and then he had a kid show called Jim Will Fix It, and you could write in and for a wish, and he would grant your wish, and you'd sit on his knee and all that stuff. But he was doing all kinds of stuff. It's phenomenal. I mean,
he was the English.
People just took. He wasn't just a pedophile. He was fucking dead people, like mentally ill men. And people were giving him keys to mental facilities, girls' schools, hospitals. Just come and go as you please. Live in the car.
I did not get that far in the Netflix thing because honestly, I was repulsed with like an episode and a half in. I couldn't watch anymore, so I didn't get to the part where it was fucking corpses and stuff.
Well, they've never really talked about that because it's hard to prove, right? But the rumors of that were going around a long time ago, and yeah, he had keys to a morgue, and everything else he had keys to, he was fucking. So,
I worked with a guy who was. When I worked in pathology, there was this guy Carl. He was the diener. The diener is the guy who actually takes the saw and chops your head. He takes an electric saw and chops your brain, your skull open, and a hand saw to open up your chest. This Carl, people told me he was a pedophile, a necromaniac, or whatever, and I didn't believe it. And then he got caught in the morgue. He brought underage girls into the morgue to have sex in the drawers where we stored the bodies.
Oh, well, that's not as bad as being a necrophiliac. He's just fucking girls in a morgue. I mean, it's kinky.
Yeah, but everybody said he was definitely a necrophile. He was.
I mean, maybe he was sucking off a cold frozen sausage every now and then.
That convinced me though when he was taking girls and fucking them, because those drawers were never like totally cleaned out. I mean, we take a body, be in a bag, but you take the body out, and the truck would come, ambulance, whatever, and you put it in there, and it would go. And he just like nobody would ever like bleach it out or anything. And he's taking girls in there and fucking them in the drawer where it was just a stiff who could have died of any fucking contagious disease.
I think there's more chance of him fucking corpses than someone who isn't doing that.
Yeah, no.
That increases the possibility.
It was a totally creep. So why Savile? Is that was there any proof of that? That he fucked corpses?
Well, how are you going to investigate it? It's just it would have been 50, 40 years.
Yeah, there was no
ago
complaining victims.
No complaining victims, and who knows about other people probably don't want to get involved in it a lot of the time. So when these things come out and you find out how many people it was, you're probably getting like 20% of the victims, because a lot of people just won't want to talk about it. They're like, I'm not admitting to being bummed by Savile when I was in a mental hospital for 3 years.
Wow.
So there's a lot.
just back to the king for a second. Is there anybody over there who would get like offended by jokes about the king, or just like mocking?
Yeah. People get very offended, violent. Not as much as there was. I mean, back in the 70s when the Sex Pistols did "God Save the Queen," there were violent. There were real royalists back then, and they were beating the shit out of the Sex Pistols.
Did he just die? He just died, right?
Who?
Johnny Rotten.
No, his wife died.
Oh yeah,
Alzheimer's.
No, I just knew. I was recalling there was something in the news about it and death.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's still alive. But his wife died. Yeah, she died recently.
She was a lot older. She was a lot older and had Alzheimer's for years. I think he was her carer for the last 10 years or whatever.
Wow. So, but when that happened, he wasn't ostracized from. He didn't get like in like real trouble. Didn't go to jail or anything.
No, but they were, the police had beaten them up, and they weren't allowed to be number one when their record got to number one. They weren't allowed. That was taken off the charts. The BBC wouldn't play it.
Wow.
They were talked about in Parliament.
Right.
They were an enemy of the state because there was nothing like it back then. There was nothing like it in the 70s.
Enemy of the state. Oh, that's so fucking bizarre.
You know what I mean?
Now, another dumb question: is Charles still married? He's what was her name? Charles's wife,
Camilla. She's officially Queen Consort or something now. So it'll be
So if he dies, she doesn't become queen, right?
No, because it's just his wife. You know what I mean? The kids will get it. It'll be William.
Wow. And then what does she become? Princess? No, she still becomes like queen. No,
she'd be like, because if the Queen's mum was just called the Queen Mother, I don't know what they would do. I guess they might call her the King's stepmother. I don't know. It'll get weird at that point.
Yeah. So how long is this going to go on? Is it going to end soon? No.
What, the whole world? Well, I've heard rumors that the William's son will be the last one. I mean, but they're paring it down. To be fair to Charlie, friend of the pedos, he's cut a lot of costs. He's kicked a lot of people out of the circle and cut down, and the coronation is going to be smaller than it should have been. He's trying to reduce the size of the whole thing, which is good. Wow. So I would hope that will continue and that his kid will continue doing that. And at some point, maybe after I'm dead, I don't know, 40, 50 years, maybe it'll just be like a administrative. Maybe they'll open the odd supermarket and cut a ribbon, but it won't be.
We talked about this the other day. I don't think you're going to die. I think by in the next 10, 15 years, they'll figure out immortality. And unfortunately for you, you'll start to be getting old at the point. And then who wants to live forever as an old person? If they're going to figure out immortality, you want it to be in your 20s or 30s or something.
Yeah.
Who wants to be like live forever once you're old?
Unless they could pump you full of testosterone and titanium limbs.
Reverse age you. Yeah, that would be cool. Reverse age you. Wow. So, but now we talked about the necrophile victims not complaining. This morning on my news thing that women in the United States are, and I couldn't read the whole article because it's beyond the paywall, and I was trying to figure out how to get there. Women in the U.S. are concerned about rape within the metaverse. It's like fake rape, like imaginary rape, virtual rape.
I mean, are they concerned? I mean, yeah, let's read the article because I mean, I've got an Android, but the most of the news sources they send me are fucking absolute horseshit. So I try and say I'm not interested in this, not interested in this, clickbaity. I'm sure lots of women aren't concerned about being raped in the metaverse.
It's Elle magazine, and it was claiming, Elle magazine's a Hearst publication. So that's not to say they're credible at all. Hearst was the original yellow journalism thing, but it's a major publication, and they were talking about a major movement to kind of curb meta rape, and I was like,
Yeah.
how? It's not even really rape. If that, I mean, I can't
No.
even. I've never. Have you ever done any virtual reality type stuff? Like put the goggles on?
No, I'm not. Years ago when I had a job in visual stuff, I did look at some experimental ocular stuff before they came out. So I did a little bit of stuff with that, but not much. I am interested in the tech though. Here we go. So there's an article from last summer. Woman claims she was virtually raped in the metaverse while others passed by.
No,
I mean,
so you weren't physically touched.
no. I guess your avatar was grabbed. You know what I mean?
So what?
She was raped by users. Hang on, an hour into using the platform, that sounded aggressive. Another user passed a vodka bottle while someone kept telling her to turn around so he could do it from behind. Okay, harassment, right? I guess
Right.
they're getting harassed in the way that they get people get harassed on Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff, right? Now, but you can see your character, I guess, and you've built a little thing that looks like you, and then someone's walking behind you and like grabbing your ass or something like that.
I'm sorry to be a total idiot about this, but couldn't you just click a button and turn it off? Like, oh, you're gonna rape me? Boop, I'm gone. Like I disappear.
I guess. I guess, but it could be a kid playing it, or it could be, you shouldn't have to turn off Twitter because people are DMing you and stuff. I guess it's a genuine thing if you're getting harassed by idiots in there, but it's not rape.
Oh.
Let's not make up a new form of virtual rape. That's
Right.
Unless you're getting 10 years down the line, because there's advancements in haptic feedback, so it feels like you're touching something. Right, so you could feel like you're grabbing and then maybe it'll feel like you're being touched if you're wearing a bodysuit. Maybe that is a different conversation. I don't know. It's still not actually happening, but
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I appreciate your insight on that because I don't know anything about
insight. Yeah, as a metaverse rape expert. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, next technical question I have for you, because I'm getting inundated as a marketing person, somebody who's very interested in marketing, and I get emails about the latest, greatest stuff. Every day I get 200, no exaggeration, at least 200 emails about the latest chat GPT product that will do this for you, that will do that for you. Now, I'm really confused about this. Chat GPT, that's one company's product or not?
Yeah, so it's by a company that I think Musk was involved in originally, but Microsoft own it now. It's called OpenAI, and they've developed that tool, which it's in its 4th version now. I have access to a later one that's more widely available, but it's because I paid for it. But it's a language model essentially, but it can do a lot of interesting things.
Do you need your own server or rent a space on a server?
No, you just need an account. The free version limits. Occasionally might not be able to log in because there's a lot of people using it, or occasionally. I can send you a link and you can have a play with it. The free version.
I have tons of links to for different things, but the thing I'm worried what makes me question this is so many people selling different things, like copymate support. Yesterday I got a blog builder. I'm getting all these kind of things.
I wouldn't buy anything. I'm subscribing to their thing so I can get a latest version, because I'm testing it for a lot of stuff actually. Just really interested in it.
So all these marketers though, they're licensing the software or the language stuff so that they can resell these apps they built. Is that what I feel fucking behind the curve instantly. Like
you can get access to the API. So if you can build an app that can connect to it, that will sit on top of it. But unless you need something specific, you don't need to. ChatGPT can do a lot of stuff.
All right. Now, I got more questions here because this is when we were first starting. I'm thinking back almost 40 years ago now when we started building web pages.
Yeah.
And the idea was you never wanted to have a third party in control of your product because then you are limited to, what happens if they go away. all these things being run by one company, does it, if they're selling me stuff that is using this all on one server, I'm not even sure about that. But does all the stuff end up bogging the system down because everybody's getting into it at once and selling products that are using this API? No.
Well, yeah, in theory, but they're only releasing the free side of ChatGPT will limit you. If it hasn't got space, it will just say you'll have to come back later. There's a paid version which you can have access to faster and the more up to date model. So these companies are probably paying for their usage to ChatGPT. So they're paying for the server space essentially. So they're probably, unless the whole thing goes away, then they'll be there. But I would be careful because there's so many popping up now. I'd be careful about some of these third party things on top of.
Yeah, I'm not buying anything yet, but I want to understand it, and I feel like this happened overnight. Like
it's very fast. Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty technically savvy up until about 6 months ago, and now I'm like my mother was 50 years ago.
Just watch some videos on. There'll be some basic stuff on what ChatGPT is and where it's going to go. Because there's also Auto GPT, which I'm also looking at a little bit, but that's where so you can build mini algorithms. Like GPT is its own thing, but you could with Auto GPT you can have lots of them doing things for you. So you could say, go research how to set up a business for me, and it will go online, find information, can download stuff to your computer, can move files around, and essentially give you a marketing strategy or a business strategy, that kind of thing. But it's not quite as usable yet, but you can do some things with it. There are people out there saying it will build your website automatically. It's not quite true right now, but it won't be far away when anyone will be able to say, build me an app that does this, and you'll get an app.
Wow.
Essentially, yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little worried, but I'll probably.
It's a big change, and it will settle in, but we're right at the beginning of it, and it probably the next 10, 20
No
years.
need for copywriters, video creators, or coders because this amazing app handles everything. And I saw a demonstration of one yesterday that did cartoon type videos from scratch. All you do is give it what you a couple of sentences of what you're looking for, and it builds it on its own. It's pretty strange stuff. So yeah, that is part of the confusion thing, and where that's all going. I don't
think we know where it's going, but I think it's going to be part of almost everything. This is a bigger jump than could be as big as having the internet in every home. I think it will change how we do things.
So this product, it says, I'm just going to list, and I'm not going to say what the product is because they're not sponsors. Built-in and AI engine proven to be 10 times more powerful than ChatGPT 3. So I guess they built their own, right? Engaging A+ quality content for anything and everything. Turn plain text into engaging pro videos that attract thousands of free traffic. Yeah, blah, blah. That's marketing bullshit. Create high converting emails. So to write, basically it's just writing text or creating videos, right? Get attention grabbing social posts on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, blah, blah, blah. Create articles, ads, reports, still writing, just, AI image generated. Now this is the one because I don't know if you have this yet on your YouTube. I have AI thumbnail builder built into YouTube, and I did a video yesterday, which was a snippet of the rant I did yesterday. It's a 26-minute snippet because the rant I did yesterday was an hour. But I put the video together and I just put it up, and it has an AI title creator, description creator, and AI thumbnail creator. Very good. I mean, I only had to change a couple of words in the description. The thumbnail, even though it's a eye grabber, had really nothing to do with the video.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Was it quite colorful? Let me bring it up. Yeah, I did.
It's about Erica Rhodes, and there's a guy on it, looking like with a funny face. It's just like, well, that's a shame.
I mean, why did you use that, man?
Because it was I went through 3 iterations, and that was the most
Yeah.
The only one that really said anything about comedy in any way. And
Yeah,
I
so
didn't want to make one myself. It was an experiment.
It's probably some of those. I've used the art stuff a little bit as well. It's difficult recognizing some people unless they're really well known.
Yeah.
So might be difficult to get.
Yeah, but I think
it might know.
I would think, even though it's difficult recognizing some people, that Eric, you generally, maybe not in this world today, but you would think Erica is a girl. Not Eric. I think it looked like, oh, well, we must.
Eric Rhodes. Maybe this is Eric Rhodes, yeah. But Eric Avenue.
So yeah, but do you see the description there? That description was written completely by AI, I guess.
Let me go in there, yeah. I would, yeah, that's quite good that it's a little tool on there that you can do. There will be things popping up and they will all improve. Yeah, so I'll send you the link for ChatGPT because you can get the description, probably see what that'll do with descriptions. I haven't tried any of it yet. You can give it some basic stuff and then see what it'll write. And you can probably, it's about learning how to prompt, really. And it's just, you just got to play with it and see what's going on and then how to correct it because it will remember. You can say, no, I didn't mean that. You can just type this in. I'll get it to do things like act as this, act as that. So you could say act as a YouTube description writer, right? And I want you to do this. There's some information. Write me a 300-word video description with hashtags.
Oh, and just see. Yeah, that's what I need. The tag part of it on the YouTube.
Just see what it does, and if it's not quite correct, you can try and correct it, or just.
I don't know if this is like a feature that YouTube is only rolling out to some people because it's not on all my computers. It's like weird. It's only on this one. The one right.
I didn't. All right, so YouTube are doing it. Yeah, I've not seen it. I'll have a look.
Yeah, next to like the title field that says want us to create this for you, and then there's a little button there. You push it, and
interesting.
It asks for a keyword. So I put in Erica Rhodes. I got that. I said Erica Rhodes because the thing was Erica Rhodes discusses making it in comedy. What does that mean? And then basically it came up with that was the whole discussion yesterday. This whole thing about making it and what it means, and because I got into a long discussion, a Twitter discussion with her the other night about. Yeah. She put out a joke about it. Now, of course, I anally make everything too serious.
Anally inserted yourself.
Yes, but if there are certain people I know I can get away with that with. If I did that with Stanhope, he'd shut me down in a fucking second, said block me, fuck that guy, don't analyze my jokes, don't But it wasn't really. I'm concerned that people who are younger. And just getting into comedy will measure making it by just the money. And Robert Taylor, who's been on the program, brought it up yesterday. It's like you can't focus on making it and focus on creating great comedy at the same time. I think if your goal is to be like a great comedian, you have to focus on great content. You can't focus on making it. And that's this, not that you can't want to define making it whatever that is, but you can't be focused on that and thinking that's my complete focus, because then you lose focus of really doing great comedy and you're out there doing crowd work or whatever the hell that is. So
yeah, there's different, but some people do come in where they want to be something, right? They want to be, and I know people that are trying to make themselves big in the comedy world, but they've been a poet. They've done this. They've tried to run this kind of festival. Now they're a comic. They just want to be something.
Me too.
But some of them get away with it because some of them, out of blind narcissism, will get opportunities quickly because they're just so belligerent. They're like, right, they're doing well. But yeah, making it. I listened to some of what you said yesterday. I think I think success or making it should be, you've got to be realistic, and you've also got to. You've got to define what it is for you. What would that mean for you? And it can evolve over time, right? So you could say, this year you've got to have a plan, but you've got to be able to say, okay, this year I want to earn this much money from comedy, or do these kind of gigs, or
strategy. Yeah.
Having a plan, but be flexible as well, because opportunities can come along and you can be allowed to change your mind, but you should definitely sit down with a plan over this year, even if it's just 1 year. What am I going to do this year? And is it better than last year? At least.
Right. Now, yesterday I brought up Bert Kreischer as an example of somebody who is great at marketing, but not a great comedian. Now, you a couple of days ago, I don't know, I think put out some. I think Ari Shaffir is one of the best comedians working today, and I would agree with that. He is the counter to Bert Kreischer in my mind, because
Ari cares about comedy, and it's been obvious.
That's
I mean,
what
that
I mean.
was also, I was had a couple of beers, you know what I mean? But I do really like Ari. He cares about comedy, and it's all he cares about. It's
Right,
all,
and he's not a good
make this as
marketer
good as
because
possible.
nobody who's not a fan of stand-up comedy in the true sense knows Ari Shaffir. He's not like a headline, a household name for a lot of people who know comedians. Bert Kreischer is because of the marketing aspect only. So he's, Ari is kind of the anti-Bert in that he's a purist in the form of wanting to do comedy and not really concerned about the marketing of himself. Or maybe he's concerned or just doesn't know how to do it. I don't know, but it seemed like to me he's the polar opposite of what I was talking about yesterday. So
I mean, I guess we've, there's some people who do a lot of marketing, but on the other hand, as a bit of a devil's advocate, some of those people also do work a lot in terms of they put the effort in. Maybe it's not great, maybe you don't laugh ever, but that some of those people have worked a lot, and they've had legs up and been made more public for being on massive platforms and all the rest of it, but they have also sacrificed things for whatever their art is, whether it's good or whether you think it's good or I think it's good.
Sacrifice for your art.
Being away from your family, that kind of stuff, working hundreds of days a year, it's still, that's hard work. It's not just going, oh, it's easy, I'm going to make this drone video. Now everything's easy. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. But I've always liked Ari, and he has done some crazy stuff, but he's also helped a lot of comics behind the scenes, and he's done stuff like moved out on an apartment and said, any comedians in New York with no money, come and help yourself to my furniture. I don't want it. That sort of shit, which is nice, right?
Yeah, that's very cool.
Anti-marketing as well, because years ago when he come off of his TV show that he built up from nothing and got fired from it, he went to Asia after filming his comedy special, and his agent was like, well, when are we editing it? And he goes, oh, I don't know, 3-4 months when I get back. Who cares?
Wow.
He's getting pressure to get it out as a business, but he's like, oh, I'm going to Vietnam. See you in 4 months.
Wow. Yesterday I got an email from the Stand, the place we went to when you were here.
Yeah.
And it was the suit. Did you get the email? No.
No, you pay for the tickets, so next time I'll get the email.
Okay. What it said, the email said, the smoking hot headliner returns to see the GOAT only tonight, Tuesday night, tonight only. The greatest of all time is our headliner tonight. And they don't tell you who it is. You have to click in to buy the tickets to see who that greatest comedian of all time is. I'm just curious now. I don't really want the ticket. Who the hell does the Stand have tonight that they're calling the greatest of all time?
I'll guess we'll find out tomorrow. I mean, I would think if a club's doing that, it's probably a good comic, right?
Well, I clicked in, and here's what happens. I click in, and it says there are no tickets available. And still, no tickets available to see the greatest.
Sold out. I would imagine, unless it's a prop act that's called themselves the greatest of all time.
I don't think it would be to have that kind of email, because they said also this week Mark Norman, Joe Liz, all week long. So those are the supporting, not the headliners.
So the Stand is a really good comedy club, and it's had a good reputation. I'm glad I went there and saw it, actually, because it's had a good reputation for years now. It's in its second location now, so it's got bigger. So yeah, I mean, it could be a tell, Louis. That's what I would be thinking.
Yeah, That would be great. Now you should. You should start calling yourself the greatest
Greatest of
all
all time.
time.
Well, years ago when I was a student in something, I had business cards printed, and all the business card said was my name, and then underneath, up your game. No contact information, no information of what I did. I used to hand them out at conferences, like how am I up your
What
game?
is your game? It doesn't matter. Like if my game is like,
Be
shellfishing. I'm a shellfisher, and I would like to up
be
my
the
game.
best. Be the best. Be brilliant, or don't talk to me. That's what I meant. But how arrogant is that as a student as well? So I could go call myself the GOAT.
I'm a proctologist. I would like to up my game.
Yeah, stick it up your game.
Well, we'll look into it. That's kind of weird, but I still am curious, and I don't know how I will find out because there's no
someone will post if someone will post about it tomorrow on Twitter.
Oh yeah, maybe that's true.
If it's someone huge, then someone will post about it.
I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know if anybody is actually going to. Do I know anybody that actually is in New York that goes to comedy clubs all the time?
Some of the comics will probably post about it as well.
Oh, you're right. It doesn't have to be fans. That's true. I wonder because you never see Norman you see Joe List will promote people he likes. But I never see Norman saying, you got to go see this guy. He's the greatest guy. I have seen Joe List say that. Even twice a week, I see Joe List say stuff like that. Like, Joe, check this guy out. He's really funny or whatever. Never see Mark Norman say that about anybody. Not to single him out and be... I know you disdain politics, but your war... is a different thing than politics, although there's political aspects of it. Now, Russia is claiming that Ukraine tried to kill Putin overnight. And
I saw, yeah.
Did you see the video of it? It looks like...
I just seen it just now, yeah.
Like the plane just crashes, but it looks like there's an American flag on top. That's what it looks like. I don't know. In the video, it's just so weird. And it just... The plane blows up right next to the Kremlin, and that's it. It's over with. Like that. If that's their best shot,
I've no idea. And who knows who did it anyway? There's loads of unhappy people in Russia that want to kill Putin. It's not just the Ukrainians.
Yeah,
there are people. There are Ukrainians in Russia doing stuff like blowing up railroad tracks. There are sympathetic people to Ukraine in Russia doing stuff. There's people who just want to get rid of Putin who are doing stuff. It's a drone with a grenade on it or something, but Russia say they took it down with countermeasures or something. So
yeah, it looks like a really cheap firework in the video.
But that's all you need. You only need a shitty drone. Maybe not for a Kremlin, but a lot of these tanks are getting blown up with like a little homemade grenade. Just fly it on a commercial drone and then drop it.
The concern I have, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks like this, but
I'm not the only one.
It could be Russia using this to say, well, they tried to kill our, our leader. Now we have, an excuse to use nukes on Ukraine or whatever, or escalate.
Russia has threatened nuclear war about 1,000 times in the last year. It's about 1,000 times. It's about 3 times a day. Yeah. Some propagandist, I honestly, I do follow it quite closely, actually, like every day. I don't think they would lob a nuke anywhere, to be honest.
Well, I'm just thinking that because this is only being put out by Russia and nobody else is actually, that it could be just like an excuse to do something. Nick, that's not beyond the realm of how governments work when they put this media. We did it. We did it with 9. Maybe I don't want to be. Never mind. Pearl Harbor. We did it with Pearl Harbor. We definitely did it with Pearl Harbor. This is a historical fact.
False flags. Russia have done it before. Putin's done it before. But what are they going to do? I don't think they're going to fire a nuclear weapon. It's just, I don't think they've got the balls, personally.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what the response will be. And it's not good. There are armies in the mud fighting Ukraine. They're not, do they want
nuke our own guys? Listen, if it was the United States, I would say we probably don't care about our troops. If it meant dropping, I don't think, if we were going to do something like that, we'd pull all our troops out before we drop the big one. Fuck them. I think that would be the government's official.
Yeah, because it's going to be that much of a mess. It doesn't really matter, does it? There's going to be a bit of a mess all over the planet.
How does Carl pronounce the name Putin? Like I would say in Putin.
I said Putin.
How do I? Cause I change every. I call him Donkey. I call him President Vladimir Donkey.
Call him the Russian pedophile.
I changed my pronunciation of his last name. I call him Putin.
Pudding.
Yeah. I don't know. I never had a chance to sit down with him and ask him what he prefers. I would like
Putin.
Putin. Yeah.
Putin.
Yeah,
I don't pronounce T's. Putin.
Putin.
Yeah.
Rasputin. Well, if there was a Ras in front of it, it would be Rasputin, right? So we'll call him Putin.
Yeah, I think I used to say Putin, but now Putin. I'm trying to. Yeah, but I'm dropping the T as well, so it's Putin.
Right. Lastly, I don't know how much you care about this anymore. I mean, I know at one point you were interested in UFOs and probably still are to some point. It's always in the news lately, this UAPs and all this stuff. Bob Lazar is trending because Eric Weinstein had challenged him to not a debate, a meeting on Rogan's podcast to discuss some of the claims that Lazar made. Lazar has not taken him up on this in a month. Eric Weinstein re-upped it today. Do you care about this stuff at all?
Yeah, I follow it a little bit, but not. Yeah, but there's something weird going on in that former government people have been using UFO Twitter as a community.
Yeah,
I do follow a little bit. There are ex-intelligence people and former high-up Department of Defense people that are interacting with UFO Twitter and telling them there's fucking aliens everywhere. It's there's something weird going on, but I think that the nutbags are being manipulated or the believers, I should say, are being manipulated by that for some reason. And I think it probably coming down to budgets and money, and they want certain defense contracts setting up that are, going to deal with all Chinese drone incursions and all that kind of stuff. I think it's what it comes down to.
Well, people are kind of insinuating that Lazar is afraid to have this conversation with Eric Weinstein. And I think Lazar always has this out that he wasn't in on the project. He doesn't really know. He's speculating.
When he went on Rogan a few years ago, and every time he was asked a difficult question, it's really funny. At some point, he's like, I've got a really bad migraine. And he went on there with Corbell, who made arguably, I got into it a little bit through this again. He made quite an interesting documentary called Bob Lazar and UFOs about 4 years ago.
Right, Jeremy Corbell.
So he was the hype man. So every time Lazar was like, I have a migraine, Rogan would be like, where's the evidence? And then he'd go, I have a migraine, and Corbell would be like, well, what he's saying is, so it was just a weird. I don't know about. I think Lazar is not telling the truth about a lot of things. Did he maybe possibly have some experience at that lab as some weird appointment without any qualification because he was a rocket nut? Maybe. That's what I think. But I watched something else, and this channel I used to watch used to be really into this up until about a year ago, and then they flipped because they were getting intimidated by, these former military people and all that. But they've basically said now it's all bullshit. There's a lot of people making money out of it. There's a lot of defense contract stuff going on as well. And I think that's what it ultimately boils down to. You get public pressure about UFOs because the UFO believers start phoning up Congress. So they get hearings and all this. And I think it all comes down to military budgets. But I don't know. It's so weird that they're openly interacting with real believers of like remote viewing and UFOs.
Yeah. Now, the other part of the UFO thing that I want to talk to you about, because you are a Brazilian at heart.
Yeah.
A man who has an affinity for Brazil. Let's put it that way. Last week on Rogan, he had this guy on. I haven't seen the whole episode.
You're gonna talk about Virginia. It sounds like vagina.
Is that what it's the Brazilian Roswell they're calling it, right?
Virginia, yeah.
1996.
Yeah.
A live alien was spotted by 3 girls, and the thing asked one of the girls for help, and it ended up dying. And they put. You tell me about what you know about that.
Well, what I know about it is that that's a couple of girls in a really poor neighborhood of Brazil, and I've seen the footage of all that. They claim they saw some little thing with red eyes covered in, or brown thing with red eyes. There's a really good CGI of it somewhere. It's brown with red eyes. That's all the evidence there is. And then this James Fox guy, who arguably made quite a good documentary a couple of years ago. I can't remember what it was called, The Phenomena or something like that. It was quite good. It was about all this modern stuff, the political stuff, the videos he got released and all that. It was quite good. But he's been hyping up this for a while, saying he's got real proof that this has been a massive cover-up. But apparently, I haven't seen it, but apparently by people who have, that don't just believe everything, say, it has no evidence. If people draw in pictures and, there's a cop or military guy that passed away years ago, but he knew the truth, but we're just trying to find it. There's also rumors that it was a midget, right? That it was just a midget.
A stinky midget.
Like a stinky, dirty midget found in the woods. There's other rumors. There's other rumors that it was a mental patient that was just in the woods for 2 days, and it was covered in mud and scary looking and red-eyed and all that, and it probably scared the girls. They were young when they saw this. I think those things are way more likely than a little demon alien. Now, about 3 years ago, I knew about this a few years ago, and at the time I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I was kind of going down the rabbit hole, but now I'm like, no, it was probably a midget, stinky midget, or a dirty mental patient.
I kind of agree with you. That was my first thought, because I'm hearing about this little being, we'll call it, but I'm not hearing about a craft. How did it get here? Was there, because they called it the American Roswell, and I'm thinking, well, was there a crash? Did somebody hear a crash? Was there a vehicle, a ship that?
I think all that happened, that the girls saw something weird, and then in the years between then and now, there's people going, I saw a light in the sky that night. It's just that stuff. There isn't, even with Roswell, you had lots of people saying, I saw a crash, I picked up the metal, I touched the metal. You had lots of people saying that, right, from around the town, farmers and politicians, not morticians and stuff, that say they were involved in alien autopsies and stuff.
Nurses in the Roswell area.
It was a lot of people, and even that was probably either a Russian spy plane or it was a secret spy balloon, probably now. That's probably what I'm leaning towards. The holy grail of Roswell, even. I'm just going, it was probably some advanced thing. Maybe Russia had been testing retarded people, and they were just firing them in their test ships. Like we sent a monkey to space, not that I'm making that comparison, but they just put some really heavily disabled people into a flying saucer project and just sent it to the USA, and it crashed in the desert. That's way more likely.
Yeah, I'm laughing, but there is a lot of possibility of truth in that kind of thing. I don't even think Russia is the only. I would not put that past any government
or an American project that they just
disposable people. That sure we can. Let's test the Van Allen radiation belt with get Herbie.
Let's go to the Down syndrome kids that were probably dumped in the street in the 50s or 40s.
Right. Nobody will miss them.
Fire them up to space and see what happens.
Oh my God, that's so
terrible. It could well have happened. Well, it wasn't that long ago we were drilling holes in the heads of unruly teenagers, right?
Right.
Was it like the 1920s? We were giving people lobotomies because they were slightly unruly in their teens or had a pregnancy out of marriage.
Yes, the thing that got me, because I had never. Maybe I heard about it and totally dismissed the Brazilian Roswell thing, but why now? Why is Rogan bringing it up now? Todd loves midgets. I used to drive nothing but midgets. There was a time when I would MG midgets were my car. I had like 6 of them, I think, within like 5 years. I went and bought a bunch of midgets. Why? Because you say you knew about it years ago. Why now? Why? Because 1996, I would have thought.
Well, it's a film made because 5 years ago I went down a massive rabbit hole of this, and I kind of stayed in there for 3 years solid. But not kind of believing, but kind of, oh, this is interesting, that's interesting. Then probably a little bit of belief. And the last year, I've been coming out of it, out of the belief tunnel, and just trying to process what has been going on, because there have been genuine, people with credentials that are talking about this stuff, and some of them start to lean in. Yeah, I had these powers in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
it just gets crazy. But Rogan's always been interested in that stuff. But I think what it is, the director's been trying to get on that show for a long time. And I did like it. The documentary made about 3 years ago was really good. It was really well made. It wasn't anything too fanciful. It's just about these are the things that are happening. But this feels like a grift at this point. But
I saw recently that Rogan claims that his show is booked 19 months in advance, 3 shows a week. 19 months in advance. That's so this guy could have been in the waiting list for years, actually.
I think a lot of these types of guests are, and then the comics that are his friends probably just come in next Thursday. But probably a lot of this kind of show probably is booked a way out.
What struck me was in the comments, it seems like Rogan's fans want much more of that. Like that's everybody who was commenting, not everybody, but the majority of the comments on the video I saw, and there were lots of them.
But that's
this is what I want from Rogan. This is what I'm here for. I'm not here for MMA fighting.
Because that will be the people that are really into UFOs that get attracted to it. Because they want this to be on big platforms, right? They want the conversation to be on big platforms. And I've got to have back and forth conversations with some of these people, and they're very nice people. And some of them, they're doing well with podcasts and all that, making money from it, which is fine. But I think a lot of people have been taken in by some weird psyop.
Yeah, and nobody asked the question: did these girls get any money? Because when I hear the story, my mind goes to like peasant girls just saying, "Yeah, we'll tell you about it."
I think in the fact I don't know. Obviously, we don't know, but I feel that they probably did see something weird, and they probably bumped into something. But again, if it was a midget or
a bear,
or a mental patient that's been in the wood for days and just looking disheveled. I know Brazil quite well. I don't know this area, but I can see the kind of town they live in. I know what they are. There's not a lot of money in those towns. They're not. Back then there might not have been a lot of education. It's before the internet as well. It's easier to get a bit of education even with the internet, I guess. And they still live in the same town, so I don't think they got made rich by this.
Right.
It seems to be
not rich, but if you're a destitute peasant,
I wouldn't be just
$50 is enough to get you to fabricate a story at that point.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, they didn't. In fact, they just say they saw something weird, I think, but they were talking about demons and stuff. They'll probably be quite religious as well. But I think it's more likely that this director now, James Fox, probably gave them some money, and quite rightly so. I think if someone's coming to your town and you haven't got any money and they want a story, give me some money, baby, and I'll talk to you. Who knows?
The MMA talk. Oh, let me bring the MMA talk on Rogan is great. Joe has been with the company since almost the beginning and has great behind the scenes and insight. So they're part of his audience is there for that. He's got he definitely has a diverse. Because he does some politics, he does a lot of comedy, he does the fighting stuff, he does the UFO stuff, and any other conspiratorial type of stuff, and then some science that is not necessarily conspiratorial and paranormal and all this kind of stuff, and archaeological stuff. But so he's got a wide, and I'm just wondering, how he maintains an audience because generally you got to niche out, right? He doesn't niche out. He basically.
Well, I think it's such a big audience that you don't need everyone watching every week, right? It's just if you get a comedian on, all the comedy fans will be in there. If you get a UFO guy, and all the UFO guys will be on, then there'll be generalists who listen to a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
whatever it is, I'll just listen to everything.
Right. So I guess we should end it here and let you go and let me go. for today. Here's the thing, you're on the show this morning, and this may be the last time we get to talk like this. I'm going to be murdered, or I'm going to murder.
I've caught. Do you know what? Not only did I catch up on some of this, because I did watch a bit of your show back last night, and I went to the Facebook. I went to the Facebook page, and then I went to the. By the way, if you're watching, you do look like a meatball. That guy does. He looks like a meatball.
Yeah, he does look like a meatball.
Too old to be fighting. Listen, too old to be fighting at music gigs.
I know that.
The meatball. It's crazy.
I didn't challenge the guy to a fight. And he started texting me after all that stuff on Facebook. He started texting me, and he said he wanted to kill me. He wanted to come face to face. I will beat the living shit out of you.
Send that to the police and the FBI.
Well, I'm definitely going to do it in advance. I don't want to make a big thing of this now, because I have a feeling he might not show up. I have a pretty strong. Listen, I told the guy I'm playing 3 doors down from where his establishment is, and he said he's going to come there and kill me. But he's going to come to my gig where my fans are going to be. And the club has its security. He's not just going to walk in and hit a guy on stage.
No, he's going to end up in jail that night. It's not going to be a good look for his family.
That's a very strong possibility. And that's what I said to him. I said, listen, I'm 20 years older than you. And that doesn't preclude me from giving you the fight you want, if that's what you really want. I said, but we are not children, and you have a life. And one of us or both of us is going to die or get sent to the hospital, and the other one of us is going to go to jail. We might both go to jail. You're all going to do this because I made a joke about the Mets on Facebook.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like a stable person.
No. And he's in charge of 3 businesses. I mean, three parts of 3 franchises of a single. So he put a guy, and maybe I'm not going to say this on the air, but he's vulnerable in a lot of ways. And John brought this up, and John Locken kindly said, "This man commands an army of comedians." No, I don't command anybody. I don't command anybody, not even a single comedian. But he's, the backlash of this is he's not the owner of the company he works for, and I could do to him exactly what he did to me and tag the owner of his company. See, this is your executive chef, and this is how he's acting on social media. Have you proved this? And I could threaten him with a lawsuit and all that kind of stuff. I could threaten him with your Yelp and Google reviews for all your businesses. You're a 3.5 star rating right now. It could be 1 by the end of the day. You want to talk about this? I'm not a vengeful person. I don't want to get vengeance on this guy. I just want him to go away. And the question is, he got me fired a month ago. Why is he still stalking me and counting the people?
Just a weird. He's probably. I mean, he doesn't sound mentally stable, right? So he's mental health issues. He's got. He looks like a fucking meatball, like I said. And I don't know, maybe he's just angry.
Yeah. Now he's going to go after Carl's.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. I'll give you the address to my house if you can just come around.
Fly over, and that's basically that's what I told him. I mean, my address is all over. You want to really hurt me? You can, unfortunately. So I don't know if I'm going to be here.
We'll make sure you're at least like Brett Brock, and you've got a house full of guns, just waiting for someone to break in.
Oh, I did not know that about Brett.
Okay. He's in Tennessee.
Yeah. Oh, good for him. So, but I am concerned. I'm not really worried that I'm going to get murdered, but it's a possibility. It's a small possibility.
But it's shit. So you're going to be playing your gig and thinking, is this guy going to walk in here? And if he does, what do you do? Yeah. What I would do was just have a quick word with the security when I get in there and say, listen, there's kind of a crazy meatball. He's shaped like a meatball.
I just take a picture of him on my phone and say, here, if you see this guy coming. No, you're right. But if he's waiting for me outside the club when I'm done, whatever. My real concern is that I'm going to have to spend a night in jail, whether I ever get charged with anything. But generally, when there's an assault on the street or a fight on the street in Patchogue, the cops will come and both parties will have to spend the night in jail. It's a Sunday night. Now, there's not going to be a judge on to arraign, so I'm going to have to wait till Monday morning to get arraigned and bailed out.
No.
That's my biggest concern. Anyway, and I don't want it to, because I talked to Robert Klein yesterday. I don't want it to interfere with my Robert Klein interview. That's all I'm really concerned about. My Robert Klein show.
Maybe your famous Robert Klein show will just be like you've got a lumped up face. You're like, Robert, you're in a wheelchair with a cast.
Me doing it from prison or from behind bars. That would be a cool little add-on effect.
Maybe this guy's angry because he looks like a meatball and he has to cook meatballs for a living. So he's been killing his own kind for years, and now the pressure just got too much.
The thing is, he thought he was hurting me by saying you don't know anything about social media, thinking that I was the guy doing his social media. I did one piece of content for him, and he posted it on his personal page. That it wasn't posted there, but for the most part, all I did was meet with him, find out what his objectives were, what he was looking for, and then hand it off to our content creators, our staff. I was the administrator. I was not doing the work for him.
So it sounds like a lot of drama, and he's obviously got a thing for you. So I don't know. Right.
So, but the point I guess I'm making is, I'm not hurt. You could say I don't know anything about social media. You could say I don't know anything about Chat GPT. I'm. You think is that really the best way to hurt me? Yeah. That guy, man, he's such a dork. He doesn't know what a GIF is.
That's what he probably sounds like as well, isn't it? It's probably like,
and he's short. He's short. You are.
I hope he's not extra. I hope he's not extra violent because now I've and that English asshole.
He's not watching this. He doesn't. That's the point. He doesn't even though he's on my Facebook page, and this is on my Facebook page. He doesn't even know I do this show. All he knows. He thinks I am a social media marketing company, and it's like, dude, that was take it up with the social media marketing company that you contracted, because I don't work for them.
Very strange.
Crazy, man. Totally crazy. Man.
But you don't want that. Shannon had this actually. There's a comedian with really bad mental health issues in the UK, and he's threatened to stab people all over Facebook and that stuff. And he, for no reason, he DM'd Shannon, who I'll be working with quite a bit, and said, "I'm going to come to your boyfriend's show." And like basically hinted that he's going to come there and kill her boyfriend. He's a musician in a band as well. So she had the same thing. She was like, "Fucking, is he going to turn up? Like, what do we do?" I said, "Yeah, first of all, tell security, and then I'd be onto the police." But she didn't want to be doing that either. But yeah, he didn't do anything. He's just a mad.
That's why I haven't handed over the chat, because the chat thing that the text thing that he sent me the other night was full of death threats. And it's like, I could send this, but I just want it to go away. I just want...
Yeah, that exactly. You don't want the hassle, right?
Right. Just go away. You know, and that's what I said to him. Like, why are you even here? Go, just block me. If my Met joke...
It's weird. It's weird that he still wants to communicate, right?
Right. Over a baseball fucking joke. A joke about a baseball team.
But hey, Mr. Meatball, if you are watching, I don't know anything about baseball, and I mean this. The Mets are awful, and I hope that all of the players get AIDS this year and they can't play anymore.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for popping in here, because I had talked for an hour and a half yesterday and Monday without a guest. I had 3 guests lined up for this week up until now, and they all had to cancel. And I understood they gave me advance notice, didn't just not show up, which was a good thing. But I had a lot to say the last 2 days. And today I just was like, what the fuck am I going to talk about? I wanted to talk about this coronation. I thought it was happened last night.
No, it's Saturday, I promise.
And I don't know anything about the monarchy, which is like, I could ask Carl. And fortunately, you were there for me. Thank you.
I know a couple of things, but I'm probably gonna do some sort of live stream for the coronation on Saturday. It'll probably be early. It'll be early.
Well, will I be around Saturday? Yeah, I'll probably be around Saturday. But early for you is way early for me. It's like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I would think I would think it'll probably be around 11 a.m. something like. Yeah, it starts at 11 a.m. So it's going to be a couple of hours. So it'll be like 7 to 9 for you or something like that.
All right, quick last thing before we will let you go. Last Rights podcast is on Twitch. It's on YouTube. Every time I get an email, it says call is live now on Twitch. I click it.
Well, because the last 2 times I was just really quick. That's why. Normally,
I get that with Old Grumpy Mama too, though. Old Grumpy Mama is live now. I click it, and like it's a delayed email or something.
Oh yeah, maybe those notifications are delayed. Because I get a notification on my phone from the Twitch app, which is normally pretty speedy. It'll tell me within a minute or so, and then my Discord, if you are logged into Discord, should also tell you. But it's
I get things from your Discord too.
Yeah,
and I go there, and I'm like,
what's this?
I'm looking around like I don't know what the hell was. It's not a really easy or user friendly.
It's difficult to get into, but once you figure out a couple of things, it's actually quite good. I'll show you one day.
Yeah, I got to probably take a YouTube tutorial on how to use Discord right. I have a
It's basically like a chat. It's basically like an old school chat forum, right? But you've got all the rooms. So you set up a server. So I've got a server, and then I've only got 2 things, general and whatever. But Old Grumpy Mama's got like 20 different hashtags. So you click on one of those, and that's for a different topic. It might be for memes, for movie suggestions, for just general pictures of yourself, whatever, updates.
Does your Twitch feed or YouTube feed into that or not?
My YouTube and Twitch has an auto live notification in my general feed.
Auto live, but it doesn't actually stream into that platform.
I'm not sure. I think it posts a link though, so it more or less.
All right.
I think I can set that up. See, I don't know as much as this. And Old Grumpy Mama also uses it to stream movies out, so you can use it you can broadcast from it as well.
All right. So everybody, if you're not yet subscribed on YouTube and Twitch, The Last Rights is spelled RITES.
RIT. It's Last Rights Podcast on YouTube, and on Twitch it's Last Rights Pod, but it'll come up in.
Very cool. Well, I very much appreciate you. Hopefully, if you're around next week, if I'm around next week, we'll touch base.
Yeah. All right.
Have a great Wednesday. Go hump yourself.
Bye.
See ya. Call man, the fabulous call man. I'm out of here. Thanks for being here tonight. Marsha Van Winsberg is my guest. She is a transformational life coach, transforming physical and mental and emotional states. She's got a book out, and we'll talk about that. Tomorrow, Killer Keeley will be back with me, and we'll talk about her career in comedy and how it's going. She's another one of these people who making great waves very quickly, and her career is growing pretty quickly. So that's the show for today. Thanks for coming. Have a great rest of the day, and bye for now.
Oh to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me.